Hey everyone, welcome back to Just a Dude podcast. I'm your host Nathan, coming at you on March 14th, 2025. It is Friday, so it's time for Just a Dude in the News. It's been a busy week in the US and we've got a lot to unpack, from trade tensions to cosmic events to some pretty intense headlines. I'm here to break it all down for you, no fluff, just the good stuff. So settle in and let's dive into the top news stories from March 7th to today. Here we go. Starting off with our number one story, President Trump's stirring the pot again with some serious tariff talk. On March 13th, he floated a 200% tariff on the EU, wines, and champagne, part of a broader push that's got 25% on Canada and Mexico, 20% more on China, and hikes on steel and aluminum too. He's doubling down, saying he won't back off, and it's got trade partners and wine lovers on edge. This all ramped up midweek, and it's a big deal. The EU's already hinting at retaliation. Think tariffs on American goods like motorcycles or peanut butter. Canada and Mexico got a temporary reprieve with a pause until April, but the pressure's still on. G7 diplomats were huddled in Canada on March 13th, probably giving U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio some long looks. Steel tariffs hit on March 12th, and companies were warning prices could soon climb. Supporters say it's about protecting American jobs, and you can see the logic there. Leveling the playing field sounds solid, but then there's the flip side. Higher costs for everyday stuff. The internet is a mixed bag. Some folks are all in, posting America first, while others are just sharing pics of empty wine racks. It's a bold move, no question, and it's got everyone talking. So what's next? Could be a full-on trade war, or maybe it's just noise that settles down. Either way, it's worth keeping an eye on, especially if you like a glass of Bordeaux with dinner. Let's move on. We've got something a little less stressful. The blood moon eclipse on March 13th. If you looked up last night, you saw the moon turn this wild reddish hue with hints of orange and yellow. CBS News and NPR called it the March 2025 blood moon. And it was a total lunar eclipse that had people across the country buzzing. Pretty cool way to cap the week, right? It's one of those rare moments where Earth's shadow blocks the moon and the atmosphere gives it that spooky glow. Social media was flooded with photos, and even someone in Texas got a shot that could be a movie poster. People from coast to coast were out with telescopes or just their phones soaking it in. It's not every day nature puts on a show like that. There's always some folks who take it deeper. X had posts tying it to everything from tariff chaos to end-of-the-world theories. Most of us, though, just enjoyed the view. CBS said it was a must-see phenomenon, and I'd agree. It's a nice break from the usual grind. I was out there myself, just taking it in. No expert analysis needed. If you missed it, you'll have to wait a while for the next one. For now, it's a reminder there's still some beauty out there, even in a hectic week. Onward we go. The Lucy Letby case out of the UK is spilling over here in the US with new developments. By March 13th, police were looking at corporate manslaughter charges against the Countess of Chester Hospital and gross negligence manslaughter for some of the staff. Quick recap. Letby's the nurse convicted of murdering 7 babies. But now the focus is widening. It's heavy stuff, no way around it. This week, it definitely got messier. Letby's lawyer, Mark McDonald, claimed the police are pushing a narrative, hinting at a possible miscarriage of justice. Social media is split. Some think she was framed and the hospital is at fault. Others say she's guilty and the staff just failed to stop her. It's a debate that's hitting U.S. airwaves too, with people asking what it means for healthcare oversight. The idea of charging a whole hospital or staff who didn't kill anyone is a rare move. NPR pointed out it could set a precedent, and that's got me thinking. How do you even untangle blame in a mess like this? For the families, it's probably less about headlines and more about closures, which feels far off. No easy answers here. It's a story that's sticking around, and it's worth watching how it plays out. But for now, let's shift gears. Big news out of D.C. On March 13th, D.C., Maryland, and 18 other states sued to reinstate tens of thousands of federal workers fired since mid-February. A judge ordered thousands back to work that same day, tying it to a Trump admin shakeup. It's a wild tug-of-war over government jobs. The backstory's chaotic. Over 7,000 IRS probationary workers got cut last month, and 2 commissioners quit. The New York Times said leadership's been unstable, and workers rallied on March 4th outside the Office of Personnel Management. X has people calling it a purge or just streamlining, but it depends on who you ask. The lawsuit claims these mass firings broke rules, and states argue that they need these folks to keep things running. Trump's team's been quiet, but you know they're planning a response. It's a tough spot for the workers. Imagine losing your job out of nowhere after years in the system. For now, it's a partial win for them, but this fight's not over. It's a reminder how fast things can shift in D.C. Our next story takes us overseas. Vladimir Putin's making headlines again. On March 13th, he said he's open, in principle, to a 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine, a U.S. idea tied to President Trump. CBS News caught him saying it in Kursk, but he added a caveat. Terms need hashing out. Interesting timing, huh? The war's been dragging since 2022, and Trump's been very vocal about wrapping it up. The U.S. restarted aid to Kiev on March 3rd, so Putin's nod feels calculated. He's got troops pushing in Kursk. X is buzzing. Some see it as progress. Others think he's buying time. It's hard to pin down what's real here. For me, any break in the fighting sounds like a win. Too many people have lost their lives and been caught up in this. But trusting Putin is a stretch. He's not exactly known for playing nice. Could Trump pull this off? We'll see. What do you think? Legit hope or just talk? Now let's talk about the economy. NPR reported on March 7th that U.S. employers are still adding jobs, which is solid news. But here's the twist. Layoffs are spiking too, hitting levels we haven't seen since the pandemic. However, most of these layoffs are being seen in the federal sector as opposed to the private sector, which means that there's more private jobs than there are federal jobs, which could reduce inflation. It's a confusing mix, growth and cuts at the same time. They say it's a weird balance. Hiring's up, but companies are also tightening belts. Could be those tariffs, could be bigger trends. X had a guy post his new job offer next to a layoff notice. Brutal irony. It's like the economy's sending mixed signals. I'm no expert, but it's got me wondering how steady things are. NPR showed empty offices alongside busy job fairs. Two sides of the same coin. Are we heading up or down? Tough to call. If you're working, hang in there. If you're looking, keep pushing. I'm pulling for you. Crypto's in the spotlight again. On March 7th, Trump signed an order for a cryptocurrency strategic reserve. Using bitcoins from court cases, we covered that story last week. It's meant to be budget neutral, pulling from busts like drug rings and hackers. It's a big move for digital cash. We're talking serious value here. Millions in bitcoin stashed away. Social media is split. Some call it genius, others worry it's risky for the economy. I'll admit, I'm no crypto whiz, but the government jumping in like this is pretty wild and out-of-the-box thinking. Could this make Bitcoin a standard thing? Possibly. Critics say it's a gamble that could backfire. For now, it's Trump betting on the future, and it's got people talking. Are you into crypto, or are you sitting out? Let me know. Health news that's raising eyebrows. NPR flagged a measles testing site in Seminole, Texas from February 21st, but cases are still popping up as of March 13th. Measles in 2025 feels like a step back, and it's got people concerned. They're linking it to vaccine hesitancy, some debate we've heard before. The internet is full of arguments. Some blame skeptics, others say it's overhyped, while others blame illegal aliens. I'm not a doctor, but I thought we'd move past this one. It's a wake-up call either way. Measles spreads fast, and schools could close if it escalates. NPR had shots of the testing van and its stark vibe. Stay cautious out there. Health's no joke. This story's not done yet, so keep tabs on it. Sports fans, this one's for you. The Boston Celtics ownership sale hit a key point this week, with bids blocked in by March 12th. 4 groups are in the running. The Friedkin Group, Stan Middleman, William Chisholm, and Steve Palicula's team. It's a record-breaking deal for an NBA franchise. Palicula is a co-owner already, so he's got an inside track. Friedkin's got the cash, though it's anyone's game at this point. I love the Celtics' history. Those championships matter, and fans are torn over who should take it. It's a billion-dollar sale, no doubt. Will it change the team's soul? I hope not. Ticket prices are high enough. Who you backing on this one? Let me know. Some positive vibes from North Dakota. On March 13th, their Senate voted 31-16 to reject a resolution asking the Supreme Court to revisit same-sex marriage. They also ditched an outdated HIV law. Solid moves for a quieter state. The catch? They didn't record the vote. And the ACLU is calling it out. Transparency matters. X had mixed reactions. Relief it failed, but frustration over the secrecy. I'm glad it's a win for keeping things fair. It's surprising this is still a fight in 2025, but progress counts. North Dakota's holding steady, and that's worth noting. What's your take? So, picture this. It's mid-March 2025, and President Trump's back at it with a new idea that's got people talking. Word broke on March 12th that he's pitching a plan to wipe out federal income taxes for anyone making $150,000 a year or less. Yeah, you heard that right. No tax bill if you're pulling in less than that. He's out there saying it's a way to supercharge the middle class, and honestly, it's the kind of bold swing that makes you sit up and listen. The details are still fuzzy. It's a classic Trump move, dropping a bombshell and letting everyone scramble. Socials lit up with reactions. Some folks are calling it a game changer, posting paycheck memes with dollar signs, while others are side-eyeing it, asking, okay, but how's this getting paid for? Treasury Secretary, whoever's in there now, I'm guessing it's still a revolving door, hasn't said much, but the vibe is they're crunching numbers fast. Meanwhile, regular people are like, wait, I might actually get to keep my cash? Of course, it's not all cheers. Critics are already out saying this could tank federal revenue, think billions less for roads, schools, all that jazz. NPR had some economist on March 13th warning it may mean cuts elsewhere or bigger deficits, which isn't exactly a chill thought. But Trump's team is pushing back, claiming it'll spark so much growth that the money will just flow back in. I'm no math wizard, just a dude who hates tax season, so I'm curious how they'll square that circle. So where's this heading? Could be a win for anyone grinding under $150K, which is a lot of us. Imagine filing your taxes next year and just not. But it's early days. Congress would have to sign off, and you know how that goes. For now, it's a headline that's got me thinking about my wallet a little differently. I believe the plan is to reduce government spending to a point where taxes can be cut. It's a balancing act, just like our normal folks have to do weekly. The government has to match spending with revenue to balance the budget. I'm all for this move. What do you reckon? Dream come true or too good to be true? Hit me up. Let's figure this out. And that's it for this week's Just a Dude in the News. We covered the top stories from March 7th to the 14th, trade wars, eclipses, and everything in between. Thanks for hanging out with me, Nathan, your host. Drop me a line on X or any social media. Tell me your thoughts or what I missed. I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.